Where is the war in Iran headed? Is the Middle East on the brink of a wider conflict? Main report 02130. Tensions in the Middle East are reaching a critical point. What began as direct military confrontation between the United States, Israel, and Iran is now rapidly expanding into a broader regional conflict. Large-scale airstrikes have targeted multiple Iranian military and strategic facilities. In response, Iran has launched missile attacks not only toward Israel, but also putting U.S. bases across the Gulf region at risk. The U.S. president has stated that the objective of this operation is clear: to dismantle Iran's missile program and significantly weaken its military capabilities. But the real question is this strictly a military operation? Or is there a broader objective, possibly regime change? Trump's strategy 1-32-15. According to the U.S. administration, Iran has long fueled instability across the Middle East and is dangerously close to developing nuclear weapons capability. The apparent strategy is to weaken Iran to the point where internal pressure builds, forcing change from within. However, history tells a different story. Air power alone has rarely succeeded in toppling strong governments. The examples of Iraq and Libya remain cautionary tales. In both cases, regime collapse did not bring stability. Instead, it triggered prolonged chaos and instability. Israel and Iran's position 2-15-3. From Israel's perspective, Iran represents its most significant security threat. For Iran's ruling leadership, this conflict is about survival. The country's powerful security forces and the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps remain active and organized. Official statements claim that Iran's leadership and military command structure remain intact. Analysts warn that if the government holds firm, the conflict could drag on for an extended period. But if it collapses, the region could face severe and unpredictable instability. Three possible scenarios, 3-3-40. At this stage, three potential outcomes are emerging. First, a prolonged war of attrition. Second, Iran's military capabilities are degraded, but the government survives. Third, internal unrest escalates, leading to political transformation or regime change. No matter which path unfolds, ordinary civilians will bear the greatest burden. Closing remarks 344. Starting a war is easy. Ending one is far more difficult. This conflict may not only shape Iran's future, it could redefine the geopolitical landscape of the entire Middle East. What do you think? Where will this war ultimately lead? Let us know in the comments. If you found this report informative, please like, share, and subscribe to Time News USA 2.5. Tensions are rising once again in the Middle East. The United States and Israel have claimed a joint military operation following strikes on multiple locations inside Iran. The reported targets included military facilities and strategic sites. In response, Iran has warned of retaliation. Experts say the situation is extremely fragile. Any miscalculation could escalate into a wider regional conflict. While world leaders are urging restraint, developments on the ground are evolving rapidly. Is this the beginning of a larger war? Or will last-minute diplomacy prevent further escalation?
Flights suspended or canceled. Tensions are rising sharply across the Middle East after joint military strikes by the United States and Israel on Iran. In response, Iran has launched retaliatory attacks, escalating the regional conflict. As a result of the growing instability, several Middle Eastern countries have closed or restricted their airspace. Iran has announced a full closure of its civilian airspace, while Iraq, Israel, and other neighboring nations have imposed strict air traffic limitations. Flight disruptions. Major international airlines have suspended or canceled flights to and from the Middle East. This includes several large European carriers, Turkish Airlines, Air India, and other global airlines. Key airports in Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Doha are experiencing significant flight suspensions and delays. Many aircraft are being rerouted to avoid unsafe airspace, while some flights have been completely canceled due to security concerns. Passenger advisory travelers are strongly advised to check directly with their airlines for the latest flight status updates before heading to the airport. Authorities recommend monitoring official airline websites and customer service channels for real-time information. In summary, following US and Israeli strikes on Iran and the subsequent retaliation, multiple countries have closed their airspace, causing major disruptions to international air travel. Airlines worldwide are adjusting routes, suspending operations, and urging passengers to stay informed. If you want, I can also provide a slower,
Global air
easier-to-read
travel
version for voice
emergency
reporting.
flights suspended or cancelled. Tensions are rising sharply across the Middle East after joint military strikes by the United States and Israel on Iran. In response, Iran has launched retaliatory attacks, escalating the regional conflict. As a result of the growing instability, several Middle Eastern countries have closed or restricted their airspace. Iran has announced a full closure of its civilian airspace, while Iraq, Israel, and other neighboring nations have imposed strict air traffic limitations. Flight disruptions. Airspace, causing major disruptions to international air travel. Airlines worldwide are adjusting routes, suspending operations, and urging passengers to stay informed. If you want, I can also provide a slower, easier-to-read version.
Today, tensions have escalated again in the Middle East. The United States and Israel have launched major joint military strikes targeting multiple locations across including the capital Tehran. President Donald Trump described the operation as massive and ongoing. The strikes occurred amid negotiations